Well, hello everyone, and this is a basic introduction to Electric Universe and this channel, what's going to be on this channel. What are galaxies? What are atoms? Why this is the official and older theory and the 20th century cosmology, which was born out of the idea of rejection of older theories, rejection of Lord Kelvin, is the newer upstart, is the alternative theory, and is not scientific. It really, I have to say, it is not scientific. And I'm not saying that because I hate doing mathematics. I'm not saying that because I'm jealous of Albert Einstein. It's just plain wrong. If you have a better theory, you use that theory. It's as simple as that. And this channel will always be about telling the truth. And also trying to stay a bit humble as well. We're not, here to change the world. Let's get into it. So we're going to see that gravity may be a subset of the vortex, which is the underlying earlier theory that people don't realise is behind electric universe theory. I'd like to see electric universe books look at the vortex. Atoms and galaxies are both generated by eddy currents. We're going to see that. This is known by electric universe people. Universe is pure electricity. How? Why? Who knows? It is a spider web of electricity. It is literally a piece of fabric that someone is wearing. It is a fractal. More than anything else, it's a fractal. And in order to be a fractal, it's electric. So what we'll do on this channel, some experiments we'll do are creating galaxies, vortices. We'll do that when the galaxy is free, when the lab is free. I haven't been there for a while. Recreating old electrical and chemical experiments. I've mentioned that we're going to talk about Roman concrete. We'll show how it's done. We'll show how many things are done. Electrochemistry, biology, etc. Stone leavening and creation. We will, because I've sort of come up with this stone leavening theory. I don't think the geopolymerists have thought of that one. I'm not sure if they have or not, because they also want to keep it. Not all of them. Some of them, they want to keep it under wraps. Anyway, so I'm not doing this for views. You can read that in your own time. I don't have time for people who say I'm wrong and then they don't have a leg to stand on because they haven't done any research. So vortex theory of the atom. And this goes back to William Thomson, he called himself Lord Kelvin because he became the lord of this area called Kelvin. This piece of land. And it's based on the idea of stable knotted vortices in the ether. And it contributed an important mathematical legacy. Ether is a strange word. It goes back to alchemy, to ancient physics, ancient alchemy. Also used in physics, it seems to mean other. The other place, the other thing. That other thing that we don't really understand. And it's been discredited. So they've discredited something that we don't really understand. We don't really know. Okay. Okay, that makes sense. No, it doesn't. It doesn't make any sense. But anyway, this became unpopular because Lord Kelvin himself was discredited by the discovery of radiation. Discovery of radiation, radium, etc., allowed radiometric dating, which I actually don't fully trust myself. This allowed geologists to say, look, we were right, the Earth is billions of years old. Kelvin, you're wrong. You said the sun was 20 million years old, 100 million years old. You're discredited. And with the discrediting of Lord Kelvin, I believe, this ended the 19th century, the long 19th century, and everything changed. Colonialism started to disappear. They started tearing down the Victorian buildings, and we have popping up on the internet this theory of a lost golden age, some great empire. I'm not even going to name it. It's a silly theory, but it was the Victorian world, and the British Empire world, and the English-speaking world, and Europe as well. So, you can read this in your own time, but there were many papers written on it. And this is the precursor to plasma cosmology. Descartes even spoke about it, etc. Helmholtz. Yeah. Next one. So there are books. There are books on electric universe that you can read. So this is one that I've read. I really recommend it. Thornell Talbot. Now, they... should I say it? I don't know. People have told me things... I've said enough. This one, Eric Lerner, it's really good, really good. Back to this one. I would like to see in these books more citations going back to the vortex, going all the way back to the vortex, because it's unclear where this theory originated. Let me just say, there are lost geniuses whose works are unpublished behind all this. Okay. I saw this. I haven't read this one. I haven't had the opportunity, but I see that it's something we're going to talk about today. Galaxies as eddy currents, and so are atoms on the electric stream. We'll see how. So at the largest scale, galaxies are distributed uniformly and the same in all directions, meaning that the universe has neither an edge nor a center. Now, I don't know what that phrase is trying to say, but it's trying to say something else. But this is a better phrase. At smaller scales, galaxies are distributed in clusters and superclusters which form immense filaments and voids in space, creating a vast foam-like structure. Think of a three-dimensional spiderweb, or yeah, like it says, foam. Think of that. That's the universe. We are someone's coat. We are existing in some great gigantic machine which is beyond our comprehension. We are pure electricity, and all this is generated by the behavior of electricity through space, whatever space is, a conductor. That's me. I'm getting my PhD 10 years ago. I've got 3 uni degrees, and I'm showing you this to show you that don't be afraid to challenge the orthodoxy. If you don't have 3 uni degrees and you want to disagree, you haven't got a leg to stand on. If you want to agree with me, you don't need any qualifications. That's fine. That's all right. So, how are galaxies generated? They're generated by eddy currents perpendicular to an electromagnetic field. So there's the electric field, there's the magnetic field, and there's the eddy current on a plane perpendicular to this. Yep, same thing. Eddy currents are a closed loop of induced current circulating in planes perpendicular to the magnetic field. They normally travel parallel to the coil's winding, and flow is limited to the area of the inducing magnetic field. Oh, hang on a sec. Andromeda's satellite galaxies all lined up? Huh? What's going on here? This is from 2006. An unusually high number of galaxies are aligned along a single plane running through the center of the giant Andromeda galaxy. Scientists don't have a theory to explain why. That's a lie. And they're citing conventional theories. Galactic cannibalism. Oh, dark matter. Oh, my goodness me. This is really bad. This is really bad. 80% of Andromeda's satellite galaxy mass is on a single plane. It's highly unusual, and it can't be accounted for by traditional theories of galaxy formation. Yeah, it's a lie. We have traditional theories. They go back generations, and they explain exactly why. So what's happening here is very simple. We have the electric field going this way. We have the magnetic field. And perpendicular, you can flip that around. Perpendicular, we have a plane. And on the plane, so we have maybe the electric field and the magnetic field, and then the plane. And the plane has the eddy currents, which are the satellite galaxies. So it shows that the globular clusters, although they're said to be very old and older than this, they are likely to be induced by the same galactic current. The reason they look older, I'll tell you why. Globular clusters, they say they're older stars. They're more dim, they're more yellow. Why? Why do they say that? They have less electricity because they're further away from the current. It's as simple as that. A supernova is a static discharge, electrostatic discharge of sorts. So they're not actually older stars in the globular, surrounding globular. You see these things here? They're surrounding globular clusters. They're not older stars. They just have less electricity to power them. So this is confirming what we have said. On January 2006, it was announced Andromeda's faint companion galaxies lie in or close to a single plane running through the Andromeda galaxy center. And this plane has been depicted in that illustration as perpendicular to the galactic direction. just as we would expect following the electric universe theory. Lovely picture. And you notice they're all different colours because they say some are being redshifted, that they reckon the redshifted ones are further away. The great scientist Hoyle never agreed with this. He suggested there are other explanations. There could even be dust in the way. that's redshifting the colour. There are lots of explanations. But we also notice they're all facing different directions. Why might that be? It's because there's a spider web of electricity. It's not one direction. There's a spider web. And the spider web is pulling electricity in different directions. It's mutually attracting and repelling. And that's why we have this appearance. Here we see basically the electricity. This is the Milky Way. The electricity is basically, in a way, the whole galaxy is an eddy current around a larger electric current around which there is no matter. There is no matter around the electric current. That is invisible. And that is well outside the galaxy. But here what we're actually seeing is the eddy current itself has generated its own, because it's a fractal, has generated its own electricity by its own vortex motion, and it's generating smaller vortexes and smaller until we get to the atom. And you can see these vortexes latent in the structure of the Milky Way. So it's generating its own electromagnetic field, and it's generating its own eddy currents, which it's why it has its own satellite galaxies. And we start to see how the fractal can form. Gravity too, possibly. This article is, let me show you, on the eddy current. So the eddy current, I believe, is the modern word for vortex theory, and this can explain the atoms, the molecules, the everything basically. Where the hell was that passage? There we go. Since no energy is lost in resistance, eddy currents created when a magnet is brought near the conductor persist even after the magnet is stationary and can exactly balance the force of gravity, allowing magnetic levitation. So it balances gravity. It allows. Now that should have been a clue to somebody that this is creating gravity on a larger scale, isn't it? I think so. All right, let's continue. So this thing here, do you see this? There's an article from New Scientist called "Largest Cosmic Structures Too Big for Theories. We can't explain them based on the current theories." Duh. That's why we started coming up with the electric universe. But what we have here, I got a chemistry degree. I'm seeing a trigonal. It's a planar tetrahedral coordination complex with ligands attached. In other words, this is following exactly what an atom does. Is it an atom? Obviously not. It's a galaxy. That's obviously something different, but it behaves in a very similar way because both are shaped by electricity. And the article is saying space is festooned with hyperclusters. The article seems to be from 2011. Etc., etc. Well, we know it was smooth just after its birth. Please, come on. But there we go. There's the planar tetrahedral planar, and it happens around metallic objects which are electron-rich. In other words, just like a galaxy, the electron-rich is in the center, and the electron poor is on the sides. It's proton. Proton is the opposite. Hydrogen is the opposite of an electron. It's just a proton, really. So we have electron poor on the periphery, electron rich in the middle. Globular clusters on the exterior, electron poor, dim old they call them dim old stars, globular clusters. Electron rich in the center, just like a galaxy. Electricity is in the center, and look, a magnetic field going through with electrons on that oxygen there. This is amazing. This is great. And these are ready. Nitrogen is explosive. It's ready to break away. This will break away. Anyway. And we see the same thing, the hourglass nebulae, etc. Most stars are actually double stars. And this is why, because electromagnetism tends to form a double star, like a doubling up. And that's why it's rare for a star to be on its own, in which case it is simply an s orbital. This is chemistry. Otherwise, such as hydrogen, otherwise it's going to have an s orbital in the middle and then p orbitals on the outer electrons. So that's chemistry. And we're seeing that in outer space. So I'd like electric universe theorists to actually learn a bit of chemistry so they can explain. So here's a double, and here we have a double star. And what's happened is it's interesting. So the nebula itself is the matter, and it's following electric laws of expansion, and that's why it looks a bit mottled and strange. But this is the metal, and that's why it's shining like with organometallic colors, transition metal colors, which transition metals give the color. And this star has spurted out lots of its transition metals, and what's happened is it's actually lost electricity to the center of the galaxy, which means that its own gravitation cannot be sustained, so it's lost a lot of these metals, and that's what they call a nova. But that star will last a long time. That is not a dead star, and this is why they get the life cycle of stars a little bit wrong, in my opinion. That's the end of the video. Guys, thank you very much. Ta-ta for now.